People who work in fast food, what is one item from your menu you would never order? I worked at a popular Midwestern pizza chain for a while. The pizza was really good and the ingredients were fresh, with the sauce and dough being made fresh every morning and the veggies delivered whole and sliced and diced by hand, along with whole blocks of mozzarella being shredded throughout the day. Good food. Felt good about making it and serving it. Literally the only thing we got that was consistently gross was the lettuce we would use for sandwiches and salads. It would come pre-shredded in a plastic bag that was who knows how old and would turn brown and slimy seemingly within the first hour or two. And I think that's par for the course. When our store opened on Chicago's north side, we took the freaking neighborhood by storm. People instantly became downright addicted to the pizza, but at least once a week people would call in or walk in angry about how disgusting the salad was. I work in full service, but this is a good rule of thumb for any place you go to. Don't order it if an ingredient is only used in 1 or 2 dishes. That ingredient is going to not be as fresh because it's not used as often. Along the same lines, don't order a dish that fits a restricted diet if that diet isn't popular in your area. I never worked in fast food, but I did work in a grocery store that had one of those quick service food bars that they would empty and sanitize every night after closing. I didn't work in the food department, but in the produce section. One night just after closing, before they had emptied them, I was mopping the floor nearby and a mouse unearthed itself from inside the pasta salad tray, hopped down onto the floor and ran off. So, the pasta salad. When I worked at 7-Eleven years ago, one of the things we got was a nachos machine, which had a big glass bin full of chips and 2 heated cookers with spigots on the bottom, one for chili and one for cheese. It was pretty popular. I don't know if there was supposed to be some cleaning schedule, but we never had one. Cleaning it meant emptying the cookers, which wasted food, the boss said. In any case, the cheese one wasn't so bad. When it was low we just dumped in another tub of cheese. Some oily separation, but it seemed okay. The chili, on the other hand, tended to mold, which crept up the insides of the cooker. When it got low we'd scoop the mold off the top and wipe the inside a bit, then just dump another batch of new chili in on top of the old. If I weren't young and stupid about things then I'd probably have said something, but all I did was avoid the stuff myself. Subway. Tuna is lethal poison in a container. It is always several days older than expiration. I used to walk on shift and throw it out by look alone. Dunkin' Donuts. Never get the cool lattice. The machines at the one I worked were hardly cleaned. Also, if you want fresh donuts, go to one with a bakery and not one that gets them shipped from other locations. They change them out every 12 hours. So I work at this burger place, right, and one time a guy calls and orders a pizza. We don't serve pizza, but my manager makes one and forces me and my coworker to walk through torrential storms to deliver it, only for the guy to say we forgot his drink. He didn't order one. My coworker then shoves the horrendous pizza in his face. TLDR, don't order pizza from a burger place because it sucks. You'll see these comments in BuzzFeed and top 10 YouTube videos soon. Motherfuckers telling me not to order stuff, but not telling me why. I didn't work there, but I went to a Subway once and got a fountain drink with my sub. I thought I saw something tiny drop into my cup when I was pouring some Sprite, but didn't pay it much mind and put the lid on. Later on, when I had almost finished drinking it, I remembered the thing I thought I'd seen. Took the lid off, and behold, many tiny ants. I was hanging out with a bunch of people I didn't really know during this. I just put the lid back on and stared at the wall in silence. I used to work at Subway and I'll never eat a tuna sandwich. Don't get any of the Asiago cheese or cinnamon sugar bagels from the Gun Barrel Road Panera Bread in Chattanooga. TN, they may contain skin flakes from the bakery manager's leg. I personally witnessed her pinching the wet dough without gloves, scratch a rash on her leg, and go right back to pinching the bagels. Those varieties start with holes that are pinched closed, and toppings are placed in the resulting diva, delicious when done to sop. Also standing water, roaches, and ethical dubiousness. Actually, I'd be shocked if she wasn't fired years ago, and it's probably all fine now, but better safe than sorry. Burger King made me clean the fryer hoods with a spray bottle and paper towels while the fryers were on and in use. I could hear the degreaser sizzling as it hit the grease. I'm surprised people didn't get sick. I've seen too many moldy ice containers for the soda fountain to ever order a soda. I make rowdy do with what I have at home. Get a 50cl canned soda from the vending machine at work. Or get a bottle of water if I'm eating on the run. I've found it's actually a little cheaper most times. The combo/meals are cheaper than say a burger plus fries plus drink separately. But more than just burger plus fries. I worked at McDonald's. Don't get breakfast after lunch starts up. It sucks for the employees. But also, if we can, we are just gonna microwave your food. Biscuits, griddles, muffins, folded eggs. It's all gonna get nuked. Especially if we are real busy. I also don't recommend bacon. We let it sit out for a good while sometimes. I worked at a Chick-fil-A and everything there is usually great quality, however I would not recommend getting egg on a salad. That is legitimately the grossest egg I've ever eaten. On a more positive note, not a lot of people get strips, which are in my opinion the best tasting chicken. P.S. Get a Chick-fil-A sandwich with American cheese and replace the fillet with strips. Trust me. I did a control F to see if anyone claimed to work at Starbucks and say don't order the chicken sausage biscuit. I found nothing. Good. Because that crap is fire. Arby's already has a bad rep. I actually like it well enough, but under no circumstances should you get a beef and cheddar. Make them put a cheddar slice on it like civilized people. I'll just say this, cleaning out the cheese goop pump when closing was enough to prepare me for working with human stool, sputum, and blood lab specimens without blinking years later. I've told this before, but I worked at a Japanese casual fast food restaurant for a while, and we had this thing called a volcano roll. It cost $7.25. A California roll there cost $3.75. The volcano roll was a Cali roll cut into the shape of a triangle and topped with spicy mayo that has been heated up with about $0.10 worth of fish. Literally just a few bits. You are much better off ordering a Cali roll and paying $0.50 extra for spicy mayo on the side and asking them to heat it up. I had one guy come in with a girl and he ordered a couple of regular rolls like spicy tuna and yellowtail, along with a volcano roll. When served in the restaurant, unless they ask us, we would put the sauce on top, so it looked nice, like a volcano. When I brought that roll over he was like, "Oh, I didn't know you guys put the sauce on. I've only gotten it for pickup, and the sauce is always on the side. I don't really like it. Could you bring me one without it?" I tried not to laugh and said sure. I went back, and the sushi chef asked what was wrong. I told him that he didn't like the sauce and want one without it. He laughed and said alright. So he took a Cali roll, cut it up, and put it on the plate. I brought it back to the guy, and he was super pumped. Basically this guy paid $7.25 for a roll that would have cost him $3.75, and me and the sushi chef got to split a free volcano roll. Normally I would have just told him about it, but the dude was being pretty arrogant the entire time. I'm guessing to act like he was a sushi expert to impress the girl he was with. I have a personal vendetta against animal fries from an In-N-Out. Not that they're bad or the ingredients aren't fresh, but they're such a rip-off. You could literally get a cheese fry and ask for a side of spread and grilled onions and put it in yourself for half the price. Animal fries are almost the same price as a double like. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Jimmy John's here. There is a group of sandwiches called Slims that are only meat or meat and cheese that are popular for those with kids, and I've tried them all, except the Slim 6. The Slim 6 is just 2 pieces of provolone cheese on bread. It might not be the grossest thing ever, but since JJ's doesn't have a way to toast sandwiches, it doesn't sound good to me, since it's just 2 pieces of cold, bland cheese on bread. I've worked at Five Guys for 8 years and it's genuinely the cleanest environment you could imagine. Order anything, you're good, including the milkshakes. Machines are cleaned every night and deep cleaned once a week. Same with the freestyles or soda fountains. Not fast food, but I worked in a movie theater and found out only 2 of the inside metal trays of the popcorn machine were cleaned weekly. I took it upon myself to dismantle it and clean the rest of the machine. It was lined in the corners with mold, probably dating back to when the machine was originally purchased. Not every machine out there is fully cleaned, as places just clean the most used pieces. Worked at Pizza Hut, both delivery and restaurant, and honestly everything is pretty alright. But we are having a North Carolina pizza right now, which is fairly popular, and man, that pulled pork smells like cat food, and that drizzle is the most confusing taste ever. Imagine cane sugar, honey, mustard, cayenne pepper, turmeric and else. 30g of sugar / 100g, and BBQ base. I work at Culver's. I'd eat, and have eaten, everything on the menu. Nothing about our food / prep / cleanliness scares me off of anything. Not all the food is low calorie, mind you. Been a decade since I worked there, but don't get chicken fries at Burger King. Don't get lava cakes for delivery. They are really great, but they are damn near impossible to keep intact in the insulative bags that are used for delivery. They are small and therefore easily crushed by inexperienced drivers, and also the sauce melts through the cake because the main dishes, E.G pizza, are hotter than it. TLDR, lava cakes / hotcakes get destroyed because they aren't similar to other delivery items. I don't want to read anything negative about Taco Bell's shredded chicken burrito. Do we understand each other? Don't take that from me. Please don't take that from me. I worked at Starbucks for 4 years. Your food is safe. We had this company called Kosher, and they went behind the health inspector and did detailed inspections. I couldn't have my nails painted for 4 years. Food was checked a couple of times a day with thermometers, and we would fail if we had a sanitizer rag outside of the bucket, like on a counter. Trust me, that place is safe. Nice to see Taco Bell going strong after looking at all these comments. When I was 14, I worked at McDonald's. Please God, don't order the fish sandwich. It's pretty well known how Wendy's chili is made, and although I know it's healthy and fine and possibly even tasty, after having to prepare the meat hundreds of times, there is no way it's ever going in my mouth. I work at Taco Bell, and there's not one specific item I wouldn't order. I just would never get anything within an hour before closing, because it's not going to be as good at all. Crusty Burger steamed hams. They are obviously grilled. I work at Five Guys. Literally everything is stupid fresh and clean, but the grilled onions and mushrooms might sit longer than desired. I work at a slower store, so this might not even be an issue. Panda Express. The Beijing beef, sweet fire chicken, and orange chicken is just deep fried meat absolutely covered in melted sugar. The honey walnut shrimp is deep fried shrimp covered in yellow dyed mayonnaise. And the egg rolls are probably the most disgusting abominations to Chinese food ever invented. Basically, if you go to Panda Express, get something that isn't a deep fried travesty. The black pepper chicken, mushroom chicken, and kung pao chicken are the best and are fun for the cooks to make. Sweet tea. I worked at McDonald's for a couple years, and once they ran out of clean bags for the sweet tea, so they kept rinsing out the old one, but it had so many creases you couldn't really get it clean. They kept using it, and stuff started growing in it. Disgusting. Well, I would never order anything from Panda Express anymore, because I got sick of all the food. But if they still have Mandarin chicken on the menu, it's literally just chicken that comes on a bag and gets microwaved for 5 minutes before getting dumped into the serving dish, so that for some reason our manager doesn't let us put salt on the fries. Don't order the fries. Edit. One time a customer brought their own salt. Don't get a salad from McDonald's. They're really not as good for you as you would expect from a salad. Wendy's chili. The preparation never really bothered me, but I always managed to burn myself when serving it to customers because our store kept it way too hot. I avoid ordering it simply out of sympathy for cashiers who are in a hurry. If you're an asshole, don't order anything. Just leave. Go somewhere else and be nicer to the workers. I used to work at McDonald's back when I was in my late teens and saw many burgers split in two. I never did it myself and don't condone it, but it was a lesson to be nice to people who make your food. I pass by a gas station that has a fast food franchise called Crispy Crunchy Chicken. I know the answer is to literally not get anything from there. But what the hell is that place? I worked at McDonald's for 5 years. Never order the milkshakes. The machine often breaks, and when it does the milk base stays inside until it is fixed, usually causing to go bad. The machine is kind of cleaned, but never as good as it should be. Every time there is a limited time shake, that is, shamrock, or eggnog, the syrup pipes get all gunked up, and the only way to fix that is to shove something in the pipe like a broken fork or chopstick to dislodge the gunk. Smoothie/blended drinks from McDonald's. When I worked there I saw some bugs crawling on the inside of the screen on the machine. I asked a manager about it, and he said that they're so hard to take apart that they almost never get cleaned internally. Starbucks ex-employee checking in. Honestly, everything is pretty safe there except for the skinny mocha. I worked at a store for 4 years before we realized we weren't cleaning the pump properly, and that crap was nasty. Clumps of foul smelling chocolate, fuzzy green bits, all around no bueno. Oh, and the steam once for all your beloved sugary lats. Corporate cares more about not damaging the machines than cleaning them properly, which means that every time you ask for your drink extra hot, like 220 degrees like the other Starbucks always does, why can't you? You're adding another layer of scalded milk to the inside of that steam wand. I absolutely will not order hot drinks anymore, because I would cover at other stores and see just how gross those ones were. They're nasty, y'all. And as always, the damn ice machines. Although most of the stores I worked in were pretty good about cleaning them, because employees get loads of iced drinks. Back when Taco Bell sold limeades, we actually used whole limes and cut them up when we needed them. Kept a case of them in the walk-in cooler. I went to grab some to prep for the day and almost all of them were moldy. I told the manager about it, and she told me to cut them anyway. I refused and threw the case out. In other words, any kind of fruit item should be examined thoroughly before consumption. If they ever brought limeades back, I would never drink one. Unless the place specializes in gluten-free pizza, never order gluten-free crust. Aside from tasting ganky and having the consistency of burnt pita, it's not actually safe for celiac disease, since the store itself literally has particles of gluten flying everywhere, defeating the purpose. Some places actually have to post disclaimers for this sort of thing. I worked at a local fast food joint in my town for about half a year, and ever since then thinking about the place makes me nauseous. Grease was everywhere. It would drip from the ceilings in the kitchen. Literally, most of the food sat out for a while before we served it, and the vegetables were straight up nasty. Countertops, especially stoffer tops, were never cleaned, and I reused every single pizza tray without washing it. The worst was the seafood. It smelled and looked like frozen foot grease. Absolutely disgusting. Only old people ever ordered it, and I felt bad because I knew they were getting completely and totally ripped off. They also paid like crap and the staff were all rude. I loved quitting that job. TL. Doctor, if you're paying for cheap food, please know that sometimes the quality reflects the price. Anything with bacon at McDonald's, they cook it, then it sits and gets cold for close to 2 hours. You don't notice, because the burger and veg on there make it hard to determine what's hot or not. Also, bring back the freaking Santa Fe app. Worked at In-N-Out, would probably just say the fountain drinks. I don't know. The food is legit quality though. I work at KFC. There is nothing on the menu I wouldn't eat. We use whole ingredients. Everything is hand breaded, and most chicken on the bone is fresh enough that it was in the slaughterhouse less than a week ago. I used to work at Subway. I don't eat at Subway, ever, at all. This is a thread that definitely needs to become popular and get everyone to share their secrets. Semi-fast food. In the old folks home I worked in, there was a tiny bistro made to look like a replica McDonald's or some crap. There was a 30 item menu and timers, because we had to provide it fast or get a penalty. Do not ever order anything that contains lunch meat from the place. Kevin was convinced food never expired, so he just exchanged the labels so they were up to date. That bologna and ham is probably 6 months old. The turkey at one point was green slime. before he could be convinced to throw it the frick away. So many people got sick, but Kevin was never disciplined. This for some reason is very common in old folk home kitchens. Staff will stretch crap as far as they can out of laziness / saving money. So if you find yourself in a home's kitchen looking for some grub, do not eat anything containing lunch meat. Definitely don't order a salad if you're coming to the Krusty Krab. Chick-fil-A here. Don't ask for your fries well done. 9 times out of 10 we will just make you wait longer, then put a sticker on a normal fry that says well done, and you will never be able to tell the difference. In terms of food prep, I trust all of our food and process. It's all pretty safe and well maintained. But if you think you're some genius cheating the system with your well done food, we don't have time for you, so don't extend your wait for no reason. Not quite a direct answer, but pretty funny. As a young dude, I was part of a crew doing relief work after Katrina, 14 I think at the time. So many donations. So many companies trying to help. One such company was Chiquita Banana. They donated a shipping container worth of bananas. Now keep in mind, where we were 80% of people still have no power. We have an industrial kitchen thrown together literally from plywood, duct tape, and vinyl screen, all set on a cement slab that survived. Maybe 3 industrial fridges. Day 1 of a 20-ish day shift. Guys, the bananas are rotted. We saved what we can. Plus 100 heat. No rain since the storm. Can you move the rest to the dumpster? I didn't know what banana death smelled like. I didn't know what yellow death tasted like or felt like. Slimy brown juices coiling their way down my clothes, into point my soul. Then every day, every meal, a dish with banana. When I came home, I couldn't eat bananas, or even be around the smell without gagging for 2 years. I loved banana pudding, and now can eat it again. This applies to probably every fast food restaurant, but order what most people would order. You will get the freshest ingredients. For example, I worked at McDonald's back when they had the mushroom Angus. Never would I ever buy that. Those end up sitting under the heater for a long time. Second would be fish sandwich. If you go to Sonic, don't order the cheesecake bites or the hot dogs. Just don't. I used to work at CICI's Pizza. There's literally nothing horrible there. They go through ingredients so quickly that nothing gets old. Nothing is great, but you can eat anything there and expect a consistent quality. Don't ever order a hot dog from fast food. Ever. They've been in the warmer for a decade. I work at a Panera Bread, and the food we make is all generally pretty fresh. We get fresh produce delivered once a day, and our truck comes twice a week to deliver the things we heat up from frozen, like the mac and cheese and our soups. The one thing I wouldn't suggest buying is anything with our espresso drinks, especially if you have an allergy. In our store we only have one machine that doesn't get cleaned enough, and we just rinse out the one container we use to steam both almond and regular milk. We aren't really known for our amazing lattes, so half the time no one knows how to actually make them. I worked at a boba place for over a year. While most drinks are very unhealthy due to the amount of sugar we dump in there, by far the worst offender is the wintermelon drink, which is just wintermelon flavor, high fructose corn syrup, and water. I can't believe people drink that stuff daily. On the other hand, our coffee is just ordinary coffee, and I drink that regularly. So if I go to a boba place, I get reduced sweetener or just get coffee. I feel like a lot of these responses are going to be anecdotal. You're going to have one person saying, don't eat X because of Y, and another will say BS. That's not true. I work there, and X. This kind of stuff is heavily regulated, and I doubt there's going to be anything truly alarming or shocking here. I've worked at Pizza Hut, Freebirds, and Applebee's. I would eat anything from Pizza Hut. Everything at Freebirds was amazing, and I wouldn't even step foot inside another Applebee's. I worked at an Applebee's I frequented a lot during high school, and during my first training session to be a server, the cook threw a plate with a porterhouse steak on that eye-level counter, and the steak slid right off the plate and onto the dirty ass floor. The trainer picked up the steak, inspected it, dusted it off, and put it back on the plate, saying something along the lines of, "This is an expensive ass cut of meat," like he was personally paying for it. I was stunned. I quit that night and never even thought of going into another one ever again. Regal Cinemas pretzels. They gave us this huge freaking pretzel steamer to cook the pretzels in and keep them moist. The issue is, say you cook 4 and nobody buys them. So the pretzels are spoiled out and at $8 come off the bottom line of your weekly inventory. As you can guess, if your spoil numbers are too high, then prepare to have to explain the crap to corporate. 9 times out of 10, we just microwaved them on demand. So don't order a microwaved pretzel. Not really food, but I used to work at McDonald's a while back and was told that the toilets were probably cleaner than the ice machines since they never get cleaned out. Frick, I just won't eat fast food anymore at this rate. Thank God I like to cook. I've worked at a Sonic drive-in for almost 2 years now, and in that time I have made more chili dogs than a man could count before dying of old age. Yet despite those numbers, I still cannot stand what that chili does to every one of my senses. Worked at a well-known donuts, coffee and ice cream place. The donuts come in frozen, are thawed, frosted using reused tubs of microwaved frosting, and the overpass bakers make one batch for the whole day. And at my particular location, they didn't use gloves ever, bare-handed everything. So, no, if you come at night your donuts have been sitting out since 4 AM and are not baked fresh. Subway sandwich artist here. For me it would have to any of our chicken options. All the calories and crap that's in our chicken is disgusting. I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts. They used to make us prepare the bacon, eggs and sausages in big ol' batches and then put them each in a warmer so it would speed up our sandwich times. Even on slow days they do it, and we couldn't make any fresh ones until the warmer ones were already used up. If you wanted the cheese to be melted we would literally have to microwave the whole sandwich for like 15 seconds to make it seem like everything came out of the machine fresh. I cannot tell you the amount of times we were forced to serve hours old eggs and meat to customers. I actually told everyone in the store the day I quit how old their food they were ordering was, because I'd been fighting with them to stop doing it, but our manager and the store owner made it a policy that's how we had to do it. It was disgusting and actually got a few people sick, myself included before I worked there. Does working at a movie theater count? Because we also had fast food in it. The hot dogs, we threw those things on at 8, 9, 10 AM. Sometimes, we'd take those same dogs off the roller to close up at 11 PM. And yeah, we'd sell them throughout the day, no matter how long they'd been up there. I've seen managers and supervisors swat flies off them before picking them off the rollers and serving them to customers. Somehow, none of this was a health code violation. I'd actively steer people away from them if they were particularly disgusting that day. RCXTV 5867 parsing text null x66.